What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez. I am back. You are back together. We are back for another day. We are back with another live stream, another player prop talk here on the channel. Today is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope this finds you in good spirits. We got the usual. We got the usual going on today. All right. If you're new to the stream, I say welcome. Hit the like button on your way in. What is the usual? We're talking player props across all sites. Wherever you play, we can dig up any research you want using props.cash. We'll talk about injury news, plays of the day, and our favorite turds of the day, plays that sold our slip yesterday. Who was that player prop? Who was that taco for you? We had some turdy tacos yesterday. We'll talk about all that, and of course your Q&A, your questions. We'll break down as many player props as we can over the next hour. So appreciate y'all being here. What's going on, Yee? I see Yee's in the chat. What is going on? The dancing goat. What's going on, JR? Good morning. Good morning to you. All right, let's get this going. Before we get into anything, if you're new to the stream, I like to start off with this fact. Over 10% of the U.S. population dies in their sleep. They don't make it to the next day. They don't wake up. I don't know what they die of, but they're gone. So you are not gone. You're here. You are on the other side of the 10%. So right off the bat, your day's okay. Pretty damn good. Hashtag blessed. Value the day accordingly. And we move on. Kind of a morbid way to start the stream, but I promise you it only gets more upbeat from here. Slightly more upbeat from here. We talk about turds of the day. I mean, can we just start with the tacos? Brandon Ingram, Luka Doncic. Those two were pretty awful, to be honest with you. So I think those sit at the top of a lot of lists yesterday. First quarter props for sure were a turd of the day for me. None of my first quarter props hit. Luka didn't hit. Champagne didn't hit. And also Gary Harris. I'm about done with Gary Harris. I don't care how good his lines are. I don't care how many shots he takes. That guy is basically non-existent when he's on the court. I was hopeful he'd get back in with a couple minutes left in the first quarter. Nah, not so much. What is going on, Carrie? Good morning. JR says, turd of the day is Franz Wagner. Only needed 15 points to win my 12-leg parlay. Holy crap. A 12-leg parlay. That's massive. Carrie said, great esports projections already out today. Nice. Our esports taco did really well yesterday. I think the first two were great. Otani and then the esports. That was great. And then Luka and both Ingram, terrible. The hockey. I did not even get to play all of the tacos yesterday. I'll be honest with you. I missed out on the Otani taco because I thought we had more time on it, and because they were running so many of them, I think they were only giving each one like an hour while they were on the board. I thought I had like 3 hours or something, so I missed the Otani taco, which sucked because it hit early this morning. Yeah, Franz Wagner first half, man. Yeah, he did go over his first quarter points. It was so crazy because I was looking at his first quarter points and I'm like, man, this guy only plays like 6 minutes in the first quarter, 7 minutes at the most. I was like, damn, I don't like that one. And he hits like 6 points. He gets 6 points in the first quarter, and that's about like all he did for the rest of the game. It was terrible. It was really bad. All right. Taco turds, Franz Wagner turds, definitely at the top of the list. I didn't get burned by too many plays, to be honest. Zion, I tell you what, taking the under on Zion yesterday was looking real good. He was in the game with basically no need to be in the game. They were up by 15 points, and he stayed in the game in the fourth quarter. He would have hit the under on pretty much all his PRA stuff. And they kept him in the game, and he knocks down 2 free throws. That was really frustrating. Yeah, I didn't win much yesterday at all. Underdog, HOTSTREAK, or PrizePicks. So those were Those were where I primarily played yesterday. They did not work out for me. What is going on, ATM? Good morning to you. He says I cashed on 4 first quarter props for 100. Hell yeah. Congrats. I guarantee you none of those were Gary Harris unless you took the under on his ass. Just start taking the under on Gary Harris. That guy. What would you say you do here award goes to Gary Harris pretty much every time he steps on the court? You could pretty much say that for a lot of NBA players. Like, how do you get 30 plus minutes of playing time and not record a stat? Different roles in the NBA. Injury news. Let's talk about some injury news. Big injury news right now is Giannis. So Giannis is currently questionable, but just got an alert from DK Live that he is expected to miss today's game. So we don't usually get the heads up that a player is going to miss. They're just ruled out, or we don't know until an hour before tip off. But we're getting plenty of time here. If Giannis sits, I mean, that definitely changes the landscape of that game with the Celtics. But we do know who is already out. Donovan Mitchell remains out for a few days. I think he had a nose injury. Markkanen played last game. He's out now. Herter remains out. Quickly's out. Stewart, Duncan Robinson, Luke Kennard, Scottie Pippen Jr. You can see that long list of Q tags. Giannis is headlining that. I think Jimmy plays today. Draymond Green, Jaylen Brown, like a lot of big names, a lot of notable names are on this list. So just make sure that all your slips, don't have too many of these guys in them. Chance that maybe a third of these guys get ruled out. And then MarJon Beauchamp is in. So fire up MarJon Beauchamp today. I know that's what we're all waiting for. All right. We're going to move into some plays. So yesterday I featured a few plays that I like. My first quarter plays did not hit yesterday. Amen Thompson did not go over his blocks and steals. He went over just about everything else. Fantasy, PRA, points and rebounds, points and assists, rebounds and assists. He just didn't get that extra steal or block that I needed yesterday. So kind of a bummy day all around in terms of the plays and also just the overall profit. Just wasn't there. So JR says Giannis is already out. So he's already ruled out. They officially confirmed it. Even better. We don't have to wait around. All right. I do have 2 new plays for you today. So I did include one of these on my cheat sheet this morning, but another one, the other one that we'll talk about in today's stream, it's not on the cheat sheet. You may not like it, but we'll talk about it anyway. So my first play is Josh Giddey over 3.5 assists. This is on Underdog at 3.5 assists. I hope it's still on the board for you. I wrote this up on the cheat sheet around 5 a.m. this morning. I put it in a couple of slips already. 3.5 assists is really low for him tonight versus the Jazz. And I like this line for him at 4. When it gets bumped up to 4, you could still play it, but at 3.5, there's a lot to like here. His minutes are not increasing, game over game, but he's just doing more with his minutes. It's a good matchup for him today. So I do like this one. The second play is JOCKMKT over 9.5 points. Now, this is probably the grossest 5-game log you'll ever see, but he's hooked it in one game. He's gone under in all these games, but you're getting really strong odds to the over on a lot of notable books here. We're going to dig into this one on props.cash because there's more that meets the eye with this one, and I'm willing to roll the dice on this one and put this in a slip, but it was standing out to me, and it's one that people probably aren't going to be on. It's not a household name, but we'll talk about this one. We'll talk about Giddey when we break down our plays during our Q&A section here in just a moment. And as always, before we get into any Q&A questions, you already know that all research is brought to you by props.cash. It is what I've been using since day one. They are coming out with some awesome MLB features that track launch angles and home runs and just things they're going to add to the MLB value. So I'm very excited to start using those once we start playing our MLB props. But props.cash, Thanks 25. That is my promo code. Gets you 25% off your first month. Very simple to use. But if you have any questions about this, just let me know. Throw them in the chat or throw them in the Discord, and we can go over whatever questions you have. All right, let's go over the PrizePicks dashboard. Let's pull that up and let's start looking at a few plays that are already out there on the board. The board is pretty much filled out today, so we don't have to wait. Sometimes the value's not there. There's plenty of good plays out there for us to go over. Let's do this. So I already have Agbaji up there at 9.5 points. Like I mentioned, Giddey is 3.5. That's playable. His assists are playable on underdog unless they've added him recently to PrizePicks. And the only thing you can play on PrizePicks are his goblin assists at 2.5. So I would say definitely take the over on that. But I think he can get you 4. So go for the full payout on underdog. I think that one's a good one. All right. Carrie dropping some Call of Duty in the chat. Skies over maps. First 3 map kills. And Purge under first 3 map kills. So we'll talk about any player prop you want to talk about. If you got esports, Call of Duty, Valorant, whatever, we'll talk about it. Hockey. I honestly was kind of sleeping on NHL. I don't really watch a lot of NHL, so I'm kind of ignorant to the sport, not as caught up as a lot of these other experts, but talking about it here on the chat with you all and just digging into some of these numbers, NHL has been pretty fun and pretty profitable if you know which plays to stay away from. So that's been a welcome addition to all the player prop talk, not just NBA, but trying to include all sports here. All right, so we got these 3 here. So we got 2 overs, 1 under. What's going on, Shy? Good morning. Good to hear that. He says he had Agbaji too, was risky, but why not? What is going on, Jim the Judge? Good morning to you. I thought I saw a comment up here. Oh, there it is. Jimmy over rebounds and assists. Garland over assists. Jared Allen over rebounds. All right. Since we don't have very many questions in the chat right now, I'm gonna add all 3 of these, and let's just break them all down. So I don't really do multiple player props from one person because I like to make sure I get everybody's questions in there. But right now, we'll fill up our board with these. So we got Jimmy Butler over rebounds and assists. That's at 10.5. Garland over assists and Jared Allen over rebounds. So Mitchell remains out, opens up a lot of usage for everybody pretty much. But Garland should see a ton of usage as he's been getting without Mitchell in. Karis LeVert also kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, everybody was on Garland, of course, without Mitchell in there, but Karis LeVert really, what am I looking for here? His rebounds? Karis LeVert really stole the show last game. How are you feeling about Gary Trent first half points? I'll tell you what, we'll pull it up real quick. We'll look it up on props.cash and I'll add it to the second round of player props, so it'll be included in those screenshots. I don't have room to put it here because I already have 6 on the board, but it's at 13.5 or 10. Okay. All right, cool. We got a lot of player props already here. We have, we're going to take a look at Agbaji. We're not able to break down these Call of Duty plays on props.cash, but Carrie does a great job of locating value. So I feel that these are trusted plays. Jimmy Butler over rebounds and assists. Garland over assists. There's like this fuzz floating around. And Jared Allen over rebounds. All right. we are headed over to props.cash. If you've never seen props.cash before, I feel most of you have, but if you have not yet seen props.cash, we use it every day on the stream in real time. So if you want to see something used in real time, stick around, drop a chat or drop a comment, a question in the chat. We'll work together on figuring out what plays are the best. What is going on, Vu? Good morning to you. Yee said, I see the Starbucks. My wife just went to get us some. That's Starbucks is down the street from where I live in the same complex. It's just a few blocks down. I kind of live in a mall. There's just like shopping centers in the apartment. You know how they do that shit now? Anyway, there's a Starbucks, probably like an 8-minute walk down the street. So every other day or so I'll go. I just try to rack up a lot of stars also, so that way I can just live off free coffee for a week. I have a system. All right. But today I was just feeling Starbucks today. I was just feeling a little bit of I can make it at home. It's just, they just do it better. All right. Rebounds for Jared Allen, 11.5 rebounds. We're looking at this. His last 5 games have been terrible, right? So we talk about this positive regression for a lot of players. Now on the year, he's an 11 rebound per game guy, but his prop today is set to 11.5, which means he needs 12 rebounds. His numbers against Miami have not been that good. 2 out of 5 games, 2 out of 6, 2 out of 6. Back-to-back games of under 10, and these games were this season. One thing you can do also, instead of just relying on game logs, is look at what other books have this line set to and what those odds are. So every one of these books has this set to 11.5. We're really looking for odds that are in favor of the over, because that's what we were playing here. We're playing this for the over. We want those odds shifted to the left. So minus 130, plus 100. Like this is what you want to see. BetMGM sees it similarly. PointsBet has a little juice to the under, along with FanDuel and Caesar. So you have DraftKings and BetMGM that have this way value towards the over, and you have 3 other books that like the over, but not as much. But nonetheless, all 5 books like this. Now his projections are only for 8.81, which is ridiculously low. I don't think that's accurate. Otherwise, his rebound prop will be down. So I think he's a double-digit rebound guy today. Now the question is, does he get you 12? He's not done it very often in the last 10 games. If you want to take a deeper look into this play, because competition, opposing teams matter, over the last, but let's just say this month, in the month of March, you have 2 centers, Duren and Jokic, that have gone over 12 or more, and that's it. Man, this one looks a little tough. I would say if you can find it at 11 or even 10.5 somewhere, that would be a better bet. But at 11.5, he needs 12. If Bam sat or something like that, for sure. Man, I thought I see better numbers versus Miami. I thought maybe we'd have some positive stats there, but man, not so much. But listen, we saw the same thing. We see similar props like this all the time. We see props that don't look good on paper. The competition is strong. The team, the opposing team is strong. And then they just go out there and they just do the opposite, right? And it's not like, it's not a complete opposite, but the odds are telling you a different story. The game logs are telling you some other story. I always say side with the odds, because the odds are unanimous across the market. Whereas projections can be skewed. Projections can be manipulated depending on where you find them. Although game logs don't lie. Game logs also don't lie. So get Darius Garland 6.5 assists. So we're seeing his number at a nice, this is a good line for him, 6.5 assists. It's, It's not a low number, but we've seen his assists get up a little higher than this before. Miami's a tough matchup. Like, the game logs against Miami are never going to be great unless you're Cade Cunningham, who seems to just excel versus Miami. In 2 games played this year, he has gone under this line. Last 10 games played, he has gone over this in 5. And over his last 5 games, he's gone over this in 2. Now, Mitchell's out. So let's remove Mitchell. Mobley's been out, so a lot of these games are already reflecting with Mobley out. But this season, with Mitchell out, Garland is averaging 6.4 assists over those 5 games. He's gone over in 3. Over the last 10 games with Mitchell out, all these games are this season. Garland's averaging 7. That's exactly what you want. His odds don't look all that bad, but you're not really seeing anything overwhelmingly positive. There's no 130, 140, anything like that. There's no high juice here. I think this is a good play. But fucking Karis LeVert. With Karis LeVert being back, I mean, it does cut into Garland's upside a bit. Just keep that in mind. Karis LeVert, unless you took his player props last game, he helped nobody. Like, his ass just kind of like stole the show. But I would like to play Garland's assists more than Allen's rebounds in this game. All right. I want to look at Agbaji real quick at 9.5 points and just give you a little bit of insight of why I was liking these ugly game logs of his. Now, it's 9.5 on PrizePicks. You're seeing this at 10.5 on FanDuel and PointsBet with DraftKings, minus 125 to the over on both MGM and DraftKings, and Caesars has it at 135. So these odds have increased. If you saw the screenshot in my slide, his odds are at 130 on Caesars, and that's been moved up to 135. So this is moving in the right direction in terms of a player prop. Now, I know this doesn't look great. I get it. Let's look at his last 5 games. 2 games versus Orlando. That's a tough matchup. You got Denver in there, another tough matchup. Detroit may have a shitty record. They got a big front court. They got some pieces there. And it's not as much of a cakewalk, for, as much as we think it is. I don't think they're a great team, but, I think this last 5, aside from Portland, these last 5 games have not been the easiest. These have not been cakewalk matchups. Slow paces, right? Denver plays at a like middle of the road pace. But Orlando, terrible game environment. Now you get Sacramento, up-tempo game. Sacramento allowing a good amount of points per game. They play fast. They're at home now. He's projected for 9.5 points. His shots have been there. His minutes have been there. He's giving you almost 30 minutes. His shot volume is there. Back-to-back games, averaging almost 10 shot attempts. Now he just needs to make them. But again, we talk about tough matchups. We talk about these tough matchups, and now he gets he gets a friendlier matchup. And so I like it. You don't have to play this, but Quickly's out today, which opens up some usage. So I like this one. I think it's a little sneaky, but I can definitely see why people would not be on it based off these game logs are just awful. Sometimes you take a chance on a player prop. This is kind of what you want. It suppresses the line. Like if he goes out here and scores 15 here and 10 here and then 15 here, his points today are going to be at 11, maybe 10.5. So that's what's keeping us down under 10. So I think that's a pretty decent play. All right. We got the 2 esports plays that we're not able to look up, but we're going to roll with the under and over on those. We have Jimmy Butler. We should have looked up Jimmy Butler in that last game. Let's just go right back to Cleveland and look up Jimmy Butler's rebounds and assists. So Jimmy Butler missed last game. And it was kind of a late scratch. It wasn't minutes before tip off, but it definitely wasn't announced super early in the morning. I think it was after second shoot around that it was official. So now it's 10.5 rebounds and assist line. Past 5 games, just kind of been coasting at 7. Hasn't really been doing too much here. We want to see a little bit more from him. Last 5 and 10 games have not been great. His matchup against Cleveland also poses some challenges to him. He is projected for 10.47, so that's slightly under his line today. So he needs 11 to go over. You would actually round down on his projection. Now, we talk about conflicting information. You got the odds that are really liking the over on this at 10.5 on DraftKings, BetMGM, both minus 130. Caesars minus 131. PointsBet. All 5 of these like the over. So on the road this season, he has 1 game versus Cleveland. He put up 13. That's at the beginning of the season. His road numbers, 50% hit rate over his last 10 and 40% hit rate over his last 5. Compare that to slightly better road numbers for Jimmy. Miami, for me personally, is one of those teams that unless somebody is out, I typically don't like playing their players. They just cannibalize each other. And I can't ever seem to get those dudes right. So if Bam sits, I like Jimmy, I like Hero, that kind of thing. But if they're all healthy, and it's really hard to pinpoint who that guy is going to be for that game. All right. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to screenshot these 3 plays. Even though we didn't look up the esports, we're going to roll with them because I trust Carrie. Now, I'm going to leave these as is, the overs on Jared Allen and Jimmy. But you could definitely make a case for going under on both of those. Darius Garland is the one I have the most faith in, I guess, out of these 3. I just hope we don't see a repeat performance from Karis LeVert. He just soaked up so much usage last game, and Darius Garland had one of the worst first halves. I think he had like 2 points in the first half. He just didn't do a whole lot, and that really suppressed his upside in that game. All right, we're gonna kick things off. We're gonna look at Gary Trent's fantasy, or 10 points, first half point prop at 10. What is going on, James? Good morning to you. Divine, what's going on, my guy? Curtis Johnson, what is up? Good morning to you. Curtis likes Jared Allen's under points. Aaron Neesmith under rebounds. Let's look at Neesmith, not first half. Hit that like button on your way in. Means a ton. You can always take the like back, right? If you don't find value in this, or if whatever, you don't like my hat or something, just take the like back. But while you're here, hit the like button. I'll never know you took the like away, but definitely see it when you hit the thumbs up. All right, you got Neesmith under. Jared Allen points under. We just looked at his points. We can look at, we just looked at his rebounds. I'm seeing some Niang love in here. Oh, it's from Yi. Yi just posted it twice. Niang first half props have not failed. And then Niang 9 PRA over is solid. And we're talking about Niang first half. Let's look it up. He was not on my radar, so I'm not gonna act like, oh yeah, I was on that one too. We'll look it up together. JR wants to take a look at Durant over 28 PA. After his last game, he'll probably go over in his points alone. That would be dope. Let's take a look at Durant today. Also, I don't know if this happens to y'all, but why am I always I'm stuck on the first half. I thought I went back to full game. I don't know if this happens to y'all, but I get so caught up in player props and the research and the injury news and just everything. I rarely take a second to look at the schedule and just see who's playing who. It doesn't really sink in until like I'm doing the stream where I'm like, oh, they're playing that team. So just as a quick reminder to everybody, I'm just gonna run through the games. Okay, I might even put this on a slide for everybody so we can have a visual. But Heat at Cavs, Pacers in Detroit, Bucks in Boston without Giannis, Kings in Toronto, Jazz in OKC, Clippers in Portland, Philly in Phoenix, and the late night hammer, Grizzlies visiting the Golden State Warriors. Those are your games today. All right. Yes. What's going on? Robert Higgins says Keontae George. I had Keontae George on my cheat sheet this morning. I like this 8.5 rebounds and assists. I got to type in his first name because there's 17 Georges in the NBA. Got bumped up to 9. Let's take a look at it anyway. Jim is asking about Kuminga 3-point at 0.5. If I can spell. Is it still there? It's on Underdog, isn't it, Jim? Ew, Durant. What's up, kid? Durant left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. That damn. Well, it wasn't his taco. What was it? A promo? It was a promo, right? He had a promo point promo on PrizePicks and Underdog. He had one on Underdog too. Damn, Kuminga 0.5 threes has been taken off the board. It was available on Underdog. I was able to get that in a 3-pick early this morning, like around 5 a.m. Yeah, but I thought his threes were in a good spot. All right, we got 5 player props up on the board, 6 player props up on the board. Who can we group here? We got Trent, ISO, Neesmith, ISO. We got Allen, Niang. All right, I guess we're going back to Cleveland, ladies and gentlemen. We got 6 player props on the board. Let's do this. We're going right back to Cleveland. Let's go right to Jared Allen. We were kind of iffy on his rebounds, to be honest with you. Now we're going to take a look at his points today. He needs 17 to go over. He's at 16.5. There you go. 16.5 points. You're seeing this at 15.5 on various books like FanDuel and PointsBet. But BetMGM, Caesars, and DraftKings have bumped this up to 16.5. That's what you're seeing it on PrizePicks. So just pulling up BetMGM at -140 to the under. This is probably going to get bumped back down or back. This is going to get bumped down to 16 points. So even at 16 points, like if we were to move this down, it still doesn't impact anything he's done over the last 10 games. 60% hit rate, but a 40% hit rate in his last 5. Which game did I pick his PRA? I think it was this game against Boston. They really let me down. Boston was up by 20, something like that, going into the 4th, and Jared Allen was pretty much done for the game. Then Dean Wade knocks down like 12 threes, and then the Cleveland Cavaliers win the game, and Jared Allen's back in the game, and he goes over his PRA. That pissed me off. But unless some fluky shit like that happens, I mean, looking at the under on 16.5, when you're getting these incredibly juice odds to the under. I mean, that's a lot of data to consider when you look at the under. We also look at his projection today. It's only at 15. We already looked at what centers have done versus the Heat in terms of boards, but in terms of points, we got to scroll down to Nikola Jokic back on February 29th. He's been the only center to eclipse 16 points, 15 from Duren here. I mean, yeah, this one doesn't look good at all for him. I guess if you were looking to make a decision between his points and rebounds, what's looking the best is the under on his points. I will say, if you can find a Jared Allen double prop, because he's getting you 10 points almost guaranteed. Like if Jared Allen has a double prop out there, even against the Heat, I think this is a great line for him, because he's basically getting you 10 points in every game but one. And he does need 10 rebounds, and he's done that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his last 10 games. I don't know if that double prop exists for him, but if it does, that to me it's a good value versus taking the ISO on his rebounds. But yeah, I think the under on his points looks solid. All right, Georges Niang. We're going to look at Georges Niang's first half PRA. At 9. So we're getting this at 9. This one looks very good. We don't only like to look at first half game logs here, but I mean, it's very difficult to ignore 6 straight games of 10 or more and then 7 straight games of 9 or more. He's obviously getting a ton of usage without Mitchell in the lineup, without Mobley in the lineup. No, Dean Wade is day to day, but Strus has also been out. So you have a lot of pieces missing, and Georges Niang kind of just slides in, kind of soaks up some usage. I mean, this is a good spot for him. First halves are always a little risky. Like foul trouble in the first half, you're done. We all know that, right? You pick up 2 fouls in the first quarter, you're pretty much done. Your first half props are sunk. You're not gonna see the full limit. You're not gonna see the full minute run, barring any foul trouble. Assuming that he's able to score, assuming that he's able to give you 5 or more points. If he gives you 5 points here, he grabs you 2 rebounds, 1 assist at 7, or 8, excuse me. So yeah, Georges Niang gives you six points, 2 boards and assists. That's a push. I think he needs to give you 7 points in the first half. I think if he gives you 7 or more, this is a lot, because we're not seeing incredibly high rebounding numbers in the first half for him. We have an outlier game here, but for the most part, he's getting you 2. So his RA in the first half is 3, roughly 3. So he needs to get you at least 7. If he gets you 7, I don't think this is going to be a sweat at all. He might be able to get this shit on points alone. But while it's at 9, you're getting a suppressed number. I think it's in play. Let's talk about Gary Trent first half PRA and points. Let's look at them both. Gary Trent's fantasy is also in play. When that gets released, we can take a look at that. So good. All right. 10 points for Jeremias Trent. I don't think that's his first name, but sounds cool. All right, so over his last 5 games, he's averaging 12 points. He has 2 games where he got you sub 10, but 3 games where he got you 13 plus. Orlando's a tough matchup. Split that series. Projected for 21 points, 21.29, so 21 points. You would you would divide that. That's 10.5 points. Obviously, he can't get you a 0.5 point, but what he can do is get you 11. So that shows you that if he's consistent, half over half, 11 points is what he needs to go over this line. Take a look at his PRA also. His PRA is, to be honest with you, his PRA is a little bit more intriguing to me. I know that it does require more production, but he's no slouch. Like, he's not just out there in the corner sitting and knocking down threes. He's doing what you need him to do. I mean, if Gary Trent can get you 4 to 6 RA and he gets you 8 points, that's over his first half line. He needs 14. So if Gary Trent goes out there and gets you 4 RA and he gets you 9 points, 10 points, well, now that I'm saying it out loud, he needs 5 RA. 9 points and 5 RA gets it done, right? If he were just scoring points alone, then I would just look to his points, but he's just so active when he's on the floor. So I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these plays, but I like his first half PRA. I think there's more upside there. He obviously has to score to get this shit done, but the good thing is he's grabbing rebounds and assists. So Quickly's out as well. Then we got to factor Quickly being out. We got to factor Scotty Barnes being out. Jakopoto, like all these dudes, like the sample size may not be there. See, yeah, these games don't even count because they're last year. So it's hard to create that sample size, but just with Quickly off the floor, it's going to create more opportunity for him. His points are good first half at 10, and then 13.5 first half PRA is also in play. 28 is his game total divided by 2. That's 14. That's a very, very like high level view to calculate that, but it gives you an idea of what his upside is. 14 is what you need, and it's right there. So I think that's in play. Jared Allen's points just got bumped down. So if you were looking to play the under at 16.5, it's 16, just like we talked about. So 16 is the new line for Jared Allen. We already talked about liking it at 16, but 16.5 offers you more wiggle room for the under. Let's look at Kevin Durant, and then let's look at Keontae George. And then we'll move on to another round of player props. We'll try to squeeze another round in here. So let's look at George. George's numbers got bumped up to 9 from 8.5. Is RJ Barrett officially out, E? Where is the injury report? I saw him. I thought I saw him on the Q tag. The reason he's not showing up on the injury report is because he's already been ruled out in advance. All right. Gary Trent's in a good spot. Either way. All right. So rebounds and assists for George. 8.5 was his line early this morning. Got bumped up. It's going to get bumped up again to 9.5 because that's what you're seeing on FanDuel. DraftKings had it at 8.5. So let's look at it at 8.5. 3 out of his last 5 games, he's gone over this. He's averaging 9 basically in those 5 games. He's giving you 8 in his last 10. He's got some dud games in there, but that game against Washington really, really brought his average down. This is enough production here to, to overcome these kind of like meh games. But man, when you give this kind of effort, you need to be getting 15, 16 rebounds and assists in order for your average to stay above. So this is what's causing his average to drop. Otherwise, it'd be at 9. Matchup against the OKC Wizards. I don't know why I want to call them the Wizards. 2 games this year. He got you 7. He got you 3. Now, in those games, He played 26 minutes and he played 14 minutes. His role obviously is different. No Markkanen today as well. Larry Markkanen's already been ruled out. That's a huge piece of the pie right there. When he's not playing, that usage gets soaked up by a lot of different players. Over his last 5 games, I mean, look at the minute difference. Even in these games where his minutes have come down under 30, he's giving you almost twice as many minutes. 27 and 14. I mean, his usage is high. As long as he's on the floor, he'll be productive. At 9, you can still play it, but go look for it at 8.5. If you can find it at 8.5 anywhere else, Underdog, JOCKMKT, HOTSTREAK. It's 9 rebounds and assists on Underdog, so you're not going to get a different line there. 9.5 on HOTSTREAK. It's already moving up to 9.5. Yeah, that line is gone. I think PrizePicks is offering you the best line right now. Also on JOCKMKT, Jalen Duren is the discounting his points from 18 to 17. I don't know if that was on your radar if you like the over at 18, but if you like the over at 18, then you like it at 17. So Keontae George on JOCKMKT's at 9. So yeah, you're not going to find this anywhere else unless you play it on a book at 8.5. But I liked it at 8.5. I thought it was in a good spot. All right, let's save the best for last. Kevin Durant, 28 points and assists after that last game. Man. Last game against Philly back in November got you 31 points alone. Let's look at his points and assists, though. We're going to do this again. He's projected for 30.71 points and assists on a 28.5 line. We can see FanDuel likes the over slightly. DraftKings is split. PointsBet also likes the over, but you got BetMGM, Caesars both favoring the under on this one. I'm going to refresh this page. Sometimes I think I have way too many apps running at the same time. I got PrizePicks app. I got OddsShopper app. I got Props.Cash app. Maybe my laptop is super fucking old. Maybe it's time for me to upgrade. I feel like that's what laptops are supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to run multiple applications at once. Otherwise, why have a laptop? So I think that's why I'm experiencing these lags here. All right, let's try and pull this shit up again. Points and assist. Last 10 games. Oof. Look at that shit. He's just like gradually walking down the stairs. Bam. Hopefully he doesn't walk any further down the stairs because we want to see this shit reverse. On the year, Durant is averaging 33 points and assists. He is playing way below. Way below. This, and then, I mean, what the hell happened? You know? What the hell happened? In these 3 games, he's only averaging 54. Excuse me, he's totaling 54. 54 divided by 3. That's not even 20. He's averaging less than 20 points and assists in these last 3 games. He is 33 on the year. He is below his line by 16 points and assists. It's going to bounce back. It's going to positively regress. If Grayson Allen can stop knocking down 18 threes in a game, Durant kind of takes his foot off the gas. I mean, if his ass doesn't need to score 30 points, he's not. But man, he's due at some point. The odds aren't really liking it too much. They're not hating it. They're kind of right there in the middle. But I love the idea of going back to him after he just completely shit in everybody's face and playing his points and assists. I mean, we've seen his points alone at 28 in some games. Now we're getting points and assists. I think this is in play. He's just too good of a player to have this continue. His longest stretch this season of going under, look at this shit. He's gone no more than 4 games in a row. So yeah, it's possible he has another dud game, but what this is telling you is that he bounces back quickly, and once he bounces back, he creates new streaks. 1 game, 2 games, 1 game, 4 games. That's the most. 1, then he reels off that. 1, there's another block of games. 1, there's another block of games. 3, here comes the start of a new block of games. Just in time to end the regular season on a high note. I think this is in play. All right, so Gary Trent, we like the over on points. We also do not mind the over on his first half PRA. If you want to go that route, no Quickly, no Barrett, correct? Niang first half PRA looks very strong despite the matchup being Miami. They're thin. They're running thin in Cleveland. He's going to get playing time. We like the bounce back spot for Kevin Durant. Wait, did I screenshot that right? I did. There we go. We like the bounce back spot for Kevin Durant. Obviously, Keontae George, 8.5 is your best line. You'll have to play it on a book, but 9.5 is in play, just not as much. And in the under on Jared Allen, 16 points, but we did bring this up at 16.5. It got bumped up. I got bumped down. So there is that. Dude, yeah, Knuckles. Grayson Allen has been killing it. It was 6 straight games of 20 plus points. Holy shit. Oh, JR says Jared Allen double minus 260 on DK. Yeah. He may not get the 13 rebounds he needs or the 17 points he needs to go over his lines, but he's pretty much good for a 10 and 10. What's going on, Ink? Good morning. Damien, what's going on, homie? Oh, no shit, JR. RJ Barrett's little brother passed away. That sucks, man. Yeah, he's probably not playing. Yeah. Okay. All right. I tell you what, let's take a quick intermission. Let's head over to Odd Shopper. Let's shop a little bit. Let's shop on some lines real quick. I got the Pick'em table pulled up. I got PrizePicks selected as our operator. I got NBA selected as our league. Let's refresh this page and let's just look for different lines here. Anything that brings us value. It's important to play on multiple sites, but anything that brings us value. Right now, the top play on PrizePicks, 7.5 rebounds under for Miles Turner. When I look at these multiple sports books that have this line available, the one book that I always go to first is Pinnacle. Pinnacle has it at minus 147 to the under. It is dropping a little bit. And then from there, I just look. You know, you got BetMGM over here. You got Sugar House right here. You have Bet365. But Pinnacle is regarded as the top book in the world. So when they have a play up, I really pay attention to that. So this one is getting really, really strong movement to the under. And that's what's increasing the value here. If you want to take the under on Miles Turner. Paul George, this was not up on the board the last time I checked. So this is a new addition. There's Pinnacle again, minus 144, under 3.5 3-pointers made. Jaren Jackson Jr. is another rebounding prop you can look at. Under 6.5, minus 130 on Pinnacle. But you can see every single one of these books also likes the under. That's how many books is that? Books / pick'em sites. 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 17 books. That's a lot of information right in your face. So yeah, anyway, you can see all these numbers, how well they're grading out. If you want to take a look on Underdog, if you play on Underdog, let's pull up Underdog, Jock Market, and Sleeper. I don't know what to drink first. I got coffee and water here. Sleeper has a couple of promos. I guess these are just for new users. Got Cade Cunningham over 0.5 points. Devin Booker over 0.5 points. Obviously, you would take the over on those. Andrew Wiggins under 5.5 rebounds. Minus 200 on Pinnacle to go under. Yeah, you're probably not going to get the best payout on this one on Sleeper, but damn, those are really big numbers to the under on Sleeper. Let's scroll down. Let's see. Sleeper has a lot of value on the board right now. Is anything else available? What the fuck? Let's remove Sleeper. This is dominating the board over here. And let's just look at Underdog and Jock Market. Are there no plays for Underdog? Did they go out of business? All right. And we're going to start to get a lot of MLB props added to the board. It'll be a few before all the numbers get calculated, but they're already putting up the MLB props. So we'll have a lot to look at in the next few days. A lot more to look at. Let's see. Expert picks. Expert picks. We have a lot of point spreads here. So if you play point spreads, if that's something you can access, plus 1.5 for Oregon. You got Sanford's point spread, New Mexico. De'Aaron Fox is your first player prop. This is over on, what is BR? Bet River. Bet River over 26.5 points. That's another guy who let a lot of people down last game, but that one is popping. Jaren Jackson under his 32.5 PRA. That's on Bet365. Ayton under rebounds. Holmgren over 15.5 points. This was on PrizePicks at 14.5. It's been bumped up, but still having a positive number towards the over. And there's Jared Allen under 28.5 points and rebounds. He can still go under this and get you the double-double. All right. Let's head back over to PrizePicks. Let's do a quick round, three, four more players or so. Clear the board, and let's see what we got. What is going on, Ruben? Good morning. That's Jaleesa. What's going on? That's Jaleesa. Under on Allen's points. Under at 16.5 was what we were looking at. Then it got moved down while we were breaking it down. So now it's at 16. But yes, the under on his points also. If you have any reservations on that, like if you think 16 is too low now that it's been bumped down, 28.5 points and rebounds here. It just gives you a little bit more wiggle room because in this situation, he could get you 17 points and 11 rebounds and go under. He could get you, 15 rebounds and 12 points and go under. So this one gives you a bit more wiggle room for the under, or you can just play the over double prop on DraftKings. Ink, I didn't see your question up there, man. Harrison Barnes over 3.5 first quarter points. Remind me again where you play, because I don't think you play on PrizePicks with the first quarter points. Is it DraftKings? We can look it up anyway. We can look it up on props.cash. I want to check JOCKMKT. JOCKMKT is one of the other sites that will allow first quarter props on the board. So he's at 4 points on JOCKMKT. Man, I got to get back on track today. Those tacos fucked me up yesterday. Those damn gas station tacos. That's what those were. I want sit-down Mexican restaurant tacos. I don't want no gas station tacos. All right, so his points over on underdog. 3.5 first quarter points. So you can play this on underdog all day long. Hard Rock app. All right, so Ink, you're playing on Hard Rock. You can play the same line on underdog. But we're looking at the over on Harrison Barnes, 3.5 first quarter points. Let's pull up. Let's pull that up real quick. Damn, that Durant season game log is crazy. Oh, also I have StreamYard recording the stream as I'm doing this. So there's a lot of applications running on my laptop. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. All right, so damn, Harrison Barnes. Okay, so this is I really didn't know that he was putting up this type of performance in the first quarter. He's giving you 4 or more in 9 out of the last 10 games. When facing Toronto, he has 1 game this year and he got you 6. Last 5 games, 100% across the board. So he's projected for 13.3 points. It's hard to do the math on this one. It's easier to say total game points divided by 2, half over half. When you're going quarter over quarter, that gets a little bit more difficult. It's dicier. But what we can do is just take a look at his numbers like over the quarters, right? Second quarter, he comes out. He's not really doing a whole lot, okay? He's playing an average of 6 minutes in the second quarter. Compare that to the first quarter. There are some games where he plays upwards of 10 minutes. He played the full quarter here. He's obviously there in the first quarter. That's his high usage quarter. He sits a good portion of the second quarter, and then after half he comes back out. He can do that for you. For the most part, his minutes in the first and third quarter are similar. And then I'm assuming in the fourth quarter he closes. He can't close. His first quarter numbers are better because he's playing more minutes. That's really what it boils down to. So while he's playing upwards of 10 minutes in the first quarter, you can definitely look to take the over on first quarter points. It's easier to build a case around somebody who's getting you 9-10 minutes in the first quarter than is a player who's giving you 5 or 6 minutes. Then they got to get extremely lucky, be very accurate from the field. They may only get like 3 shots, and if they miss them all, they're fucked. So at 3.5 points, Harrison Barnes needs two buckets, or he needs to go to the free throw line on top of that, some combination. But that's a sneaky one. You can play it on underdog, or you can play it on Hard Rock. Let's see. Oh, you're in Texas too, Jaleesa? Me too. I'm in Austin. Yeah. I wish I had access to DraftKings. I wish I had access to all these damn books. First of all, I'd use my promo codes to get me some promo funds. But on top of that, you just get a lot of good lines on these books that you're not seeing on pick'em sites. Ink, Fox over 1.5 rebounds in the first quarter. But we are hammering these first quarter props, aren't we? Let's take a look at it. I'm looking on Underdog also. Not on Underdog. So first quarter rebounds at 1.5. He's averaging 2. He's gotten you 2 or more in 5 straight. So 100% hit rate now in his last 10. He's gone over in 70%. He didn't get any rebounds last game they played in Toronto. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, if you can find also, I'm curious. Ugh, that's gross. I was going to say, you could do a nice little correlation with Harrison Barnes points and De'Aaron Fox assists, but he's not really doing that. He's not really doing a whole lot, especially if he needs 3. Now, if his first quarter assists were at 1.5, oh, I'd say pair that up somewhere and, you know, a nice little correlation. Maybe it's a bonus first quarter assists. If you can find Sabonis 2.5 first quarter assists, I think that's a better pairing with Harrison Barnes, and you can just kind of hope they help each other out there. Kind of stack that game a little bit. But yeah, the rebound prop for Fox looks good first quarter. Jim asks, is Niang at 3.5 points an over on Underdog? So he needs 4 points here. So he needs 4 points to get the over for you here. 3 gets you the push. Okay, so if you play George Niang first half PRA at 9, you should like the over on his first quarter points, because in order for him to get the 9 that he needs to get you a minimum of 5 points. Like, he cannot get you, at least I don't think he can. I don't think he can get you the over on that first half without scoring in the first quarter, right? He's not going to get you the first half PRA on rebounds and assists alone. He's just not. So he needs to score, and he needs to score early. He's scoring you 10 points in the first half over his last 10 games. And half of that's coming in the first quarter. Those correlate well with his full game or with his first half PRA. If you stack those and say over first quarter points for him, and then in another slip, I'm going to take the over first half PRA. If he's scoring in the first quarter, I can't see how he doesn't go over first half PRA, because those two correlate. You have to run multiple slips, but you could do it that way. I think 3.5 is in play. He could always go out there and just not have a good shooting quarter. He can always go out there and just go 0 for 5. That's always a possibility. That's always something that can happen to anybody. I mean, look at what's happening to Halliburton. But his number at 3 on Underdog, first of all, you're getting it at a lower line. So now you're talking about in the last 8 games, he's giving you 3 or more. That's a hell of a better line than the 3.5. So I think that's an over. Yeah. That's 1 3-pointer for George Niang in the first quarter. He's giving you 9 minutes basically in all these games. No Mitchell. He's only averaging 1 3 in the first quarter. But the great thing is when you knock down 100% of your threes taken in the first quarter, that's all you need. So if you take 1 3 and you hit it, you push your 3-point line. Now he just needs a free throw. What if he gets fouled on a 3-point attempt and he knocks down the 3 and the foul? It's done. Come on, man. How many 3-pointer percentages can we How many players can we look up that have 100% games in their game log? I mean, not a lot. Yeah, he's only taken one, but he's knocking them down. So who gives a shit? I'd rather you take one and make one than take 10 and miss 10. Like, who gives a shit how much volume you get if you're gonna knock it down? He's efficient. So yeah, I think that one's in play. I like it. All right. That's a good one. We're getting some really I don't know, sneaky first quarter plays here. We got the sneaky Fox rebound. We got the sneaky first quarter George Niang. We got the sneaky Harrison Barnes, the sneaky George Niang PRA. Hey, you got the game logs to support. You got the usage there. You got the minutes there. You know, you could do worse. Oh, his first half in regular points got bumped already? Really? No, his first half is still there at 9. His first quarter points got bumped, though, for sure. Okay, that's what you said. Never mind. What's going on, La Liga? Hope you're all right. Hope you're good. Fuck that. I hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing great. Ken said, what about Simone PRA? All right, let's look up Simone. PRA at 21. Let's check out. Let's shop his lines real quick. We have 2 more articles posted on OddsShopper. We have best player props today, and then we have a nice little 2-pick parlay: Jaren Jackson Jr. and Chet Holmgren. You guys have access to OddsShopper. All those articles are really insightful, really informative. All right, Pick'em table. We got Fontecchio. So all these are on Fliff because I'm in Texas. That's all that's going to show is Fliff. So we go to Pick'em's table, and then we can check out where this is playing and then what the odds are. So 21 and a half for this cap. All right, so Dabble is the only, it's not showing on PrizePicks, meaning it's not popping on PrizePicks right now, but let's get an idea of what the books are saying. Okay, so this is at 22 and a half. So it does show PrizePicks at 21 and a half minus 118. But at 22 and a half, Pinnacle is giving it minus 103 to go over. So at 21 and a half, this line obviously is different and the odds will increase in favor of the over. I don't know by how much. Let's pull up Detroit and Indiana over on props.cash. And I'm going to take a look at his full game PRA. So full game PRA, 20 and a half. That's what we have it on PrizePicks. Or no. 21 and a half. So this moved. DraftKings, minus 115. Caesars, minus 125. So PointsBet, BetMGM have this on the same level, 120, 110. Caesars likes the over. And then DraftKings is the only book that is undecided. Last 10 games, 60% hit rate. Last 5, 80% hit rate. His numbers against Indiana, not that great. Okay, but we're talking about different month, different usage. He did put in 33 minutes last game though. 50% from the field. What happened in that game? He must not have gotten his hands on very many rebounds or assists. Yeah, I mean, one rebound, dude, you better go out there and knock down 12 shots if you're just going to grab one rebound. He definitely needs to do more in the other categories to help this shit out. Like if you're saying to yourself, oh, he can get 20 points and he can get 20 PRA and points alone, then just play his points. Because he'll go games without getting a rebound or an assist. So if you feel like he can get you 20 points, just play his points at 15.5. Those are getting terrible odds though. I think his PRA is in play though. I mean, this game log is very promising. It's just if you want to focus a lot on his games against Indiana, they don't look good at all. Maybe this is just a tough matchup for him against Indiana. I mean, Indiana's done a fairly good job of limiting that kind of shit. Like Brandon Ingram goes off. Again, Brandon Ingram, those two games against Indiana. Remember those games? Lou Dort gets his 58 for DeRozan. I mean, when Indiana lets a small forward go off, I mean, they go off. It is no sweat, right? But a lot of these games, they're keeping these guys way under. Way under. I don't know. The odds don't look terrible. I know that, but you need a better game than what he gave you against them last time, because that game is not going to get it done. Unfortunately, we're not getting a lot of odds on the table because that line has yet to be moved down to 21 on some of these books. All right. What else we got? Any last minute player props here? Sabonis 2.5 first quarter assist on underdog. Yeah. Look, if you're gonna play the Harrison Barnes first quarter points on underdog at 3. Wait, was it 3? It's at 4. Did it get moved up? It did, didn't it? Or no, did it not get moved up? Yeah, it did. Because Ink was playing it on Hard Rock at 3.5. Now it's been bumped up to 4 on underdog. I mean, if you still want to roll with Harrison Barnes over first quarter points at 4, he is giving you 5 basically over the last 10 games. If you want to roll that way, I think a good correlation would be the Sabonis 2.5 first quarter points. He's basically running point guard when he's on the floor. So I think that correlation is fun. If you play it on underdog, you need one more play because you cannot run 2 players from the same team in a 2-pick. You need at least one more play. So just choose another one that you like and run a 3-pick and get your 6x on that one. All right. What's going on, Michael? How did everybody do in the MLB game tonight or this morning? I know that Ohtani cashed. Anything else cash for you in the MLB game? Carrie wants to know Damian Lillard under PA. That's so funny too, because when I got that email, when I got the notification that Giannis was going to get ruled out, I was like, oh shit, let me go grab Dame real quick, and you know he's gonna soak up the usage. And then I forgot. I'm like, damn, they're playing the Celtics. They're playing the Celtics. And also, when I played Dame's points and assists on Sunday, his points and assists were at 28.5. And now they're at 33.5 on the road versus the Celtics. I mean, a game at home versus Phoenix is way different than a game away versus the Celtics without Giannis. Like that's a way different atmosphere. But his numbers against Boston, let's take a look at these numbers. So 2 games this year as a Buck, he did go under PRA. His PA, in fact, did go under in these past 10 games. He's 4 for 10. Let's go ahead and take Giannis out because that usage is massive. So last 5 games played without Giannis, 4 of these games were as a Buck. He's gone over in 3 of those 4 games. Look, the upside is there for him. The upside is there. The odds aren't. At 35, and is it 35? No. It's 33.5. PointsBet has his PA at 30.5. Hey, if y'all have access to PointsBet, 30.5, that shit is 4 under, 5 under where every other book has it. Consider that one. Consider this one. That's a way low line. Play the over on PointsBet, play the under on BetMGM and middle that shit. That is a crazy low line. But his PA today, he's projected for 32.5, which is over this line, but he needs 34 to get the over on PrizePicks. The usage is going to be there. We know he can get hot. We've seen Boston self-destruct. We've seen Boston go out there and take teams lightly for whatever reason. We've seen it happen before. They just beat the shit out of... Who did they just beat the shit out of? Washington. Coming off that blowout, now to get to take on an improving Bucks team that even without Giannis, they're still pretty capable, pretty good. Defense has gotten a bit better. I think it's a good spot for Dame, to be honest with you, but at 35 PA, how bad are these lines? You got 35, 33 on PrizePicks. You got 34 on C30 on PointsBet. If you can play it on PointsBet, play it on PointsBet. If you don't have access to that, then at 33.5, at 33.5, I mean, I would take the under on that one just because there's no true value on this line. No book knows what to do with this line. It's everywhere. I hate seeing that kind of shit. So those are tough ones because the usage will be there, and Dame will have the ball in his hands a lot. Is Drew Holiday out today? It looks like the Celtics are 100% healthy. It's possible this game it's possible this game isn't competitive going into the 4th, but it's also possible for Dame Lillard to get you 33 PRA, 34 PA, and then lose the game. Like, that's also possible. I hate these kind of props because I have so many different, like, I can go this way, I can go that way with it, but there's nothing there that's really helping me, like, make a decision. And in those situations, I either just go under or I stay away from it. Unless you're playing it at 30.5 on PointsBet, which is just fucking low. That's way low. All right. Let's see. Lillard under 7.5 assists. Yeah, the assists have more to do with his team knocking down shots versus him getting them the ball. That's half of it. He can hit them. He can find them in good spots. If they're not knocking down shots, his potential assists might be high, but his assists are not. So he's projected for 9 assists today. Boston is basically top 5 in the league at assists allowed per game. That doesn't mean they're keeping people from passing the ball. That means they're keeping you from making the shot. Field goal percentage, look, field goal percentage and 3-point percentages are low. They're defending that very well, top 3 in the league. So they're just defending the shot well, which, again, if you aren't knocking down shots, Dame does not get his assists. I think the under on his assist, honestly, well, Caesars likes it, DraftKings likes it. Yeah, unless we get another game from Bobby Portis where he goes for 25 points in the first half. Assists might be a little difficult to come by for Dame Lillard. I go under on his assists versus the PA, to be honest, just because if Dame gets hot, then what are you going to do? Under on his assist, and then under on PA. Play the under on BetMGM at 35.5. Why is that line so high? The franchise, the one franchise, I know there's a Kelly Olin. I like Kelly Plunk. I'm going to call him that. I know there's a Kelly Plunk under to cash on somewhere. DK, I don't know if I should do rebounds or PR or PRA or RA, trying to figure out the best one. Let's see. Let's pull up Kelly Plunk. That's a funny name. I like that. So his PRA got bumped down. It was 28.5. It got bumped down to 27.5. All right, let's go to Odd Shopper. Let's see if they have any additional lines for him. All right, so his rebounds really aren't getting. Let's go pick 'em table. Okay, so 28.5 was his PRA on PrizePicks. Got bumped down to 27.5. Still getting good odds to go under. True odds of -122, plus EV 1.2. Pinnacle has it at -136 to go under at 27.5. Jesus. Bet River has it at under 24.5. 24.5. 24.5 on Sugar House. But wow. Why is there such a huge discrepancy in this line? Hard Rock has it at -115. Pinnacle has it at -136. They're favoring the under. That's something to pay attention to. So it looks like even with the drop, it's still looks like the under is still in play. Outside of that one, I mean, the next best one, points and assists. We can take a look at that one. No Pinnacle line on this one. Pinnacle doesn't give lines for every player prop. They're pretty selective. So when you see a Pinnacle line, it does catch my eye. Under 20.5 PA on this one, -125 on Fliff. You're seeing like pretty middle of the road odds on this one. I think his PRA is the best one in terms of value. Yeah, I think his PA is the best one in terms of value on PrizePicks. 27.5. That's the one that's like getting the most expected win rate at 55%. Also, it does make you feel a little good that even though with the line decrease, it's still getting you juice to the under. I really wish it was up at 28.5. I'd love to see what those numbers were at 28.5. What's going on, Paris? Paris, you got a question? We're about to dip out here in a few minutes. You got a question? You got it, Kim. Oh yeah, no beef stew tonight. I love when players get traded to a team and they get more usage on that team. It just shows you how deep the NBA is. You know, people get buried on the depth chart and we only know about the names that are starting and all that kind of stuff. And then a guy gets traded and then they open up more minutes for him. And then all of a sudden you're like, where the hell did that guy come from? And he's been good his whole career. He just was behind 4 other people on the team. And it's like Fontecchio in Utah. You're seeing him get those minutes and get that run. And he's like, oh, this guy's good. He was on the Philippine national team too. So he can't be terrible at basketball. But without Beef Stew in the lineup, let's see, his PRA. That's Indiana. No. So last 5 games without Beef Stew, he's gone over in 1. Last 10 games without Beef Stew, he's gone over in 2. Let's look at minutes. A lot different in the last 5 than it is the first 5. Field goal attempts, look at that. 10, 9, 6, 4. And then over his last 5. That's why it's not always fair to look at the last 10 and then take that average and use it as a blanket and say, this is what this player has done, because shit changes, especially in 5-game blocks. He went from 4.9 field goals made to 5.6. So he went from averaging 5 to 7 shots made per game. His minutes also go up. He's averaging 29 minutes in his last 5 games. Minutes aren't terrible, but come on, man. He's getting you 30 plus minutes. So, yeah. And that's without Beef Stew in the lineup. With Beef Stew in the lineup, better hit rate. It's funny how certain players they just benefit when other players are on the floor. Tatum under PRA. Now, Tatum's PRA got bumped up. Got bumped back down. It was at 39.5. Then it goes up to 40.5. And then back down to 39.5. I put this in a really early 2-pick power with the over at 39.5, and that was before Giannis got ruled out. And so now I'm like, bitch. Because if the Celtics are blowing this game open and the Bucks can't keep it close, we're going to see Tatum sit in the 4th quarter. His assists were also in play at 4.5. But his PRA, I liked it at 39.5. Yeah, if he doesn't have to do it, then he just won't. Like, he's not on the court unless the game is close or unless it's a must-win game. And so that's the only issue is close games, competitive games, he's out there. Blowout games. And honestly, what kind of sucks about Tatum is that you'll see when the Celtics blow teams out, he's not always the reason why. You hear that shit all the time well, if they're blowing this team out, then so-and-so will have a lot to do with that. That's not the case with Jason Tatum. It's very easy for him to just kind of slip into the background, and Jaylen Brown goes off or Porzingis goes off, and Tatum has a good game, but doesn't do a whole lot. And the Celtics win by 30. That shit happened. So now I wish I would have known Giannis was going to get ruled out. So I hope he goes over PRA. I played him in just one slip, but I also like his assist. So if he doesn't get his PRA, he can still get assist and go under PRA. He just needs 5 assists. The franchise, yeah, Kelly Plunk's odds are jumping around all over. DraftKings 27.5 at 110. After listening, it dropped to 130. Yeah. That's crazy. Stock market. Sometimes these odds are just like the stock market. Day trading. That's basically what you're doing. You're just day trading these props. And all these pick'em sites are competing with each other. So like, oh, this site dropped it. Okay, we're going to drop it too. Oh, they bumped it up. Oh, okay. And they're just following each other. All right. So under on Jared Allen's 28 PR. That was something we talked about just in passing and kind of breaking down his double-double odds. Fontecchio over 21.5 PRA. I'll just take a stand and say under because of what I saw with Beef Stewart. Yeah, with Beef Stewart off the floor. His numbers do suffer a little bit. And then, Jesus, Dame's 35.5 just didn't that get bumped up? Holy crap, yeah. This is ridiculous, man. I'll tell you what. If Dame goes over 35 points and assists, Jason Tatum's going over PRA. Because if Damian Lillard's going over his line, this game is close, and he's a big reason why. That keeps Tatum on the floor. They help each other out. If Dame struggles and this game gets out of hand, Jason Tatum is not going to hit his PRA. I would love to see his shit drop to 38.5 because then I play the over on that one too. But I think these two correlate. Is it extra motivation for Doc Rivers to come into the Garden and beat the Celtics? Oh, storyline. Oh, no. I hope they keep it really close, and then we see just these massive outputs for Dame and Tatum. One more before you go. Like Bradley Beal over 26.5 PRA. Let's take a look. Appreciate y'all being on the stream. 30 viewers on. I always encourage y'all to hit the like button, but I will also encourage y'all to be engaging in the chat. If you're watching from afar, throw a question in the chat. Let me know you're here. I'll answer your question. If you aren't able to do it because you're at work, totally understand that. But if you got a moment, throw a question in the chat. Bradley Beal. All right. Now, Bradley Beal is starting to look healthy. Watch his ass get scratched tonight. Just when I start to talk him up a little bit. He tweaked his back. He pulled a hamstring grabbing a bag of popcorn out the microwave. All right. This game log is nuts. Last 10 games, 8 straight of 28 or more. Destroying shit. Boston's in there. 2 games. He just destroyed Boston. Now it takes on the Philadelphia 76ers team that is they're just floating on a piece of driftwood right now. They're just out at sea, man. They just need something they need Embiid to like rescue their ass. But good game environment for Phoenix at home versus Philly. Obviously, we can see the game logs all green here. No games this year as a Sun versus the 76ers. 100% hit rate in his last 5, 80 in his last 10. Matchup against Philly. I don't care what these say. These are not reflective of what we're seeing from them. A lot of this has Embiid factored in also, but projection today for Beal, 32 PRA. He doesn't need 32 PRA. He needs 27, but that's encouraging, the fact that his PRA is projected so well. FanDuel likes the over. DraftKings likes the over. BetMGM, PointsBet, DraftKings have the identical odds here. Caesars likes the over. Caesars is giving you the most juice to the over and the least amount of juice to the under, that combination. It is encouraging that all 5 books like the over on this one. Suns really needs to win this game. I don't know where they are in the seeding, but they're not where they want to be. Shooting guards versus Philadelphia. They held Duncan Robinson in check, Pat Connaughton in check, though they really did a number on Alec Burks. Woo. DiVincenzo goes over his line. DiVincenzo goes over his line again. Luke Kennard goes over his line. And Vince Williams goes. These aren't exactly a who. This is not your Mount Rushmore of shooting guards here. Bryce McGowan, John Conchar, Alex Burks. Come on, man. They're not playing a Bradley Beal in any of these games. There's nobody on this list that's that type of scorer. DiVincenzo is the closest you're gonna get to kind of putting it all together, but come on, man. Yeah, you could take a stab on this one, 26.5. Hopefully this game doesn't blow out. However, okay, so this is Bradley Beal's game logs over the last 10 games. Okay, remember that. Last 8 games, he's gone over. So there have been Denver to Cleveland. I like to, if you're thinking that Kevin Durant has a good game, but now we're talking about Bradley Beal, something I like to do is just compare game logs of the 2 players. Like, can they coexist? Can they both go over their lines in the same game? Because sometimes one player like takes a step back and the other player kind of takes more usage. And you don't want them to cannibalize each other. But in these 4 games, Denver, Toronto, Boston, and Cleveland, all 4 games, both he and Durant went over their PRA line. So they can exist. They can both have good games. So I don't think you have to play, one or the other. I don't know if I'd play them both in the same slip, but that's encouraging. GMAC, what is going on, man? Good morning. D Johnson, good morning. Been cashing Garland over 2.5 rebounds for a week straight. Really? For a week straight? Sometimes you get those player props that are just like, does anybody else see this shit? Am I the only person that's on this shit? Jeez, man. He's like tripling up his line. John Brown says, what's the top play on the board right now? Top play in terms of like popular play? Top play in terms of plus EV on OddsShopper, or top play just in terms of like the play I like the most? Most popular play on the board right now is Chet Holmgren over his points at 15.5. People are really liking the Giddey 13.5 point prop. Top play in terms of what I like. Now, a lot of the plays that I like, I wrote up this morning, a lot of them have been bumped up, unfortunately. Like Keynote George has been bumped up from 8.5 to 9. Jaren Jackson, I liked his PRA earlier today. It got bumped up to 32. Kuminga got bumped up from 25.5 to 26 PRA. Jaden Ivey at 24.5 got bumped up to 25.5. So honestly, I still like Tatum today. It is, oh man, it is kind of connected to Dame. I think if Dame comes out and has a Dame game, then Milwaukee keeps it close and Tatum is on the floor, giving him that upside to get you 40 or more. We saw his line at 47.5 PRA 2 games ago, 1 game ago. Now it's under 40. That to me is value. And then his assists just got bumped up to 5. So we already talked about his assists earlier today. That was at 4.5 for a long time. They finally bumped it up. My favorite play right now is Tatum. And I'm hoping that Dame keeps it, helps the Bucks keep it close. So yeah, Tatum right now, top play on the board you just saw, it's Chet. And then in terms of odds shopper value on PrizePicks, odds shopper value on PrizePicks. So top play on the board right now, Odd Shopper is really liking this Miles Turner under 7.5 rebounds. You got 18 sports books, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 21 sports books / pick'em sites that like the under on this one. Pinnacle likes it at -146 to the under. That one is in a good spot. Overall, Jared Allen under 16.5 points on Dabble, -156 on Pinnacle to go under. If you play on Dabble, that one is your top play. Cade Cunningham, we're not talking about that one because that's a promo. Paul George under 3.5 threes made, -144 on Pinnacle. All unders here. Those are a few that you can look at. My top play on Underdog, if it's still on the board, which if it is, I'd be surprised because it's been on the board for a while now. They removed it. Josh Giddey, 3.5 assists on Underdog. I put him on my cheat sheet really early this morning. Got that out to the Discord. Also, at the beginning of the stream, I did open up with my... At the beginning of the stream, I did open up with my 2 plays. One on Underdog, one on PrizePicks. Giddey over assist was that one. And then JOCKMKT over his 9.5 points. Game logs don't look good, but we talked about it in depth on props.cash. So this one was standing out to me as well. But those are a few plays that I like on Underdog and PrizePicks. All right. Yeah, hit up the Discord. Hit up the Discord if you haven't already. The link is in the description of all of my streams. Paris said, how do you feel about Portis? You know what I thought that read? I thought that read, how do you feel about Paris tonight? I was like catching a flight? How do you feel about Portis tonight? With no Giannis, is there any particular line that you were looking at for Bobby Portis? Now, that guy had a career night, a career day. And now we're getting... His lines aren't bad. Let's look this up real quick, because that's definitely a value play, or could be a value play without Giannis. Giannis just being out doesn't automatically make other people do shit. They still have to go out there and do it. But it does open up usage and it gives them added opportunity. So you have that going for you. Like, just because Giannis is out doesn't mean Crowder's going to go out there and score 15 points. That's not his MO. But if we look at Bobby Portis today at 26.5 PRA, split odds over on FanDuel, he is projected for 24 PRA today. I think his numbers are a bit juiced up, coming off that massive game against the Suns, and then Giannis is also out. Even odds, not getting a whole lot of movement to either side on this one. His numbers against the Celtics, he did go for 40 against them in January. Let's take a look at what his numbers look like without Giannis. Over his last 10 games played without Giannis, I mean, he is blowing this. He's blowing this shit out the water. Last 5 games without Giannis will probably be just this season. So 2 games under, 2 games over. His points at 15.5 look good because they're at 16.5 on FanDuel, so that is giving you that nice little discrepancy. But DraftKings likes the over, Caesars and BetMGM likes this over. At 15.5 points, he's gone over in 4 straight games without Giannis. Out of all those plays, yeah, I think that one does look solid. Rebounds and assists. Let's take a look at his rebounds and assists. 10.5. 2 straight games of over. Odds don't really favor the over. They favor the under, all 3 of these books. Numbers against the Celtics. Without Giannis, there are none. But with Giannis, he is hooking this. Last game, he went over. Celtics pretty tough in terms of allowing rebounds and those assists per game. I think his points are in play. Jalen Duren's dunks are back on the board. Those dunks were doing us dirty for a while. Kerry likes pitcher strikeouts for Joe Musgrove over. All right, so now we can look at some game logs here for MLB. 4.5. Newly acquired Joe Musgrove, right? Didn't he sign a contract with the Padres this season? Or was he always with the Padres? Who am I thinking of? Glasnow's new with the Dodgers. He's a new addition. This game is neutral. No home and away splits. 5 strikeouts against the Dodgers in that newly revamped lineup they have with Ohtani in there. Musgrove versus righties. Or excuse me, Dodgers versus righties last season. It's hard to look at last season and say that's this season. We don't have any sample size going into the first game of the year or first series of the year. We do know Musgrove is good for 5 strikeouts. Now, this is towards the end of the year. You're stretched out. You don't have any limitations. You're going your full pitches. At the beginning of the year, you can look at this one and try to compare beginning of the season to this season. You can see that over the first, 3-6 games, Musgrove got you 5 or more in almost all those games. Yeah, I think that one's strong, Carrie. 4.5. Are you playing this on PrizePicks? Where's this one available? $5. It's been bumped up to $5. Well, fuck. It's 5 over on Underdog as well. If it's still 4.5, you're gonna find it on PointsBet. That's the only book that has it at 4.5. Otherwise, you're playing it at 5.5 on these other books. I think 5 is fine. I hate that push. The push in baseball is the worst. It is the fucking worst to see a pitcher at 5 strikeouts and then the manager starts walking his ass out and then he gets subbed. It's like, are you kidding me? That or getting hooked on pitch count, the worst. The worst. I hate hooks, but in Major League Baseball, hooks are the worst. All right. Well, it's at 5 right now on PrizePicks. So you can still run it at 5. It's just massive push potential. He needs 6 to get over that one. 5 at 4.5, he needs a 5. That was your best line. Sabonis's PRA is at 24.5, I think. 23.5 or 24.5. I thought those were his points at first. I had to do a double look. "24 rebounds and assists for Domantas Sabonis today. 15.5 rebounds is his line. -128 to go over. Now every game we say the same thing, right? 13.5, man, he needs 14. That's a lot. 14.5, oh shit, now he needs 15. Oh, that's a lot. 15.5, oh, he needs 16. I don't know, man, that's a lot. He's averaging 16 in his last 10 games. He's got 5 games where he's gotten you 17 or more. 2 hooks. Toronto's front court is very thin right now. Obviously, no Siakam, no Podol, no Barnes. Barnes is not a 5. He can play 5, but he was grabbing a ton of rebounds a game. You're missing your 3 best rebounders, or at least your 2 best rebounders on this team. Very few centers are going to have 16 rebounds or more in these game logs, but what we're looking for is over their line. So Jusuf Nurkic got 14, 17 for Jokic, 23 for Jalen Duren, 10 for Wiseman on a 3.5 rebound line. Power forwards against the Raptors. You're not seeing a whole lot of, holy shit. You're not seeing a whole lot of double-digit efforts here, but you are seeing tons of overs. 13 for Draymond. Come on. 13 for Grant Williams. I think at this point, you just ride the over on this one. I mean, he's Shohei Ohtani right now. You can keep taking the under on some of his props because it's a high number, but more times than not, he goes over. Whatever his line is, he goes over. 16 rebounds is a lot. It is a lot. But so was 15. So was 14. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I think 16 rebounds is in play. I know the odds don't really support this one, but neither did they against 15.5, 14.5, 13.5. Same shit. We keep repeating ourselves over and over and over again. You either take the over on Sabonis or just fade. Just fade it. Just don't play it. I just realized I was my screen wasn't showing. Sorry about that, guys. Everything I just said applies, but here's the visual. Okay, 5 over. Toronto's defense very thin in the front court. This is what we were looking at when I was talking to myself. Power forwards versus Toronto. I mean, look at all this green. All these dudes have gone over their line. That's power forward. Centers, you're going to see a lot of names in here that aren't like a who's who. Lively. These guys aren't even running full-time starter minutes. Looney, Gafford, and Dallas maybe getting more minutes, but just not. He's not a top center in the league. Eubanks is in there. Do up Reith. But you are seeing starters get their overs. Nurkic got the over. Jokic gets the over. Duren again. Wiseman, I don't even think he started that game. He got the over. Wendell Carter goes over. You either take the over on Sabonis and you sweat it, or you just don't play it at all. I guess we'll add him to the list. Now Bobby Portis's points got bumped up to 16. See? Ugh. All right. So Beal over 26.5 PRA. Man, Portis over 16 points. Now he needs 17. I hate playing bumps. Sabonis over 15.5. Yes. Yes. He'll have 7 at the end of the first quarter. Lillard under. But for my Tatum prop, I hope he goes over this. 35 is just a big line. And we're seeing like a 5 difference in between books, but I take the under on his assists. I think that was the other one we looked at for Dame. Dame making the bigger impact with assists or with PA? I don't know, but what if he just takes the game over or tries to, and he's not dishing the ball and he's just trying to score? There's that scenario. But we just broke down all these. We just broke down 3 other rounds. We've been on this stream for 2 hours now. 24 of you left on the stream. I appreciate y'all being here. Hit the like button on your way out. We are getting ready to get on out of here. Tomorrow there will be no live stream. Thursday's designated day off on Thursday, so no live stream, but cheat sheets, all the content will be in the Discord per usual, and I'll be back on Friday morning at 9 a.m. with another player prop talk. Consider subbing up to the channel, means a ton. Also consider sharing this content with somebody you know. As always, I hope all of your player props respect the damn coin. Best of luck to you all. I'll be back on Friday with another stream. Hope you guys have a great day. And until that live stream, Chavez is out.